Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Before we get started this morning, I'd like to thank our host, Chancellor Levitt, and his entire team for their fine hospitality. The reception last night was great, and really appreciate it. It was nice to see everybody and speak to people. So thank you, Chancellor Levitt. We're going to start off with the usual reminders to keep our meetings going smoothly. First, I encourage everyone who is joining by phone or video to mute your microphones while others are speaking so we can cut down on the background noise. I'm going to ask the staff from system administration and the campuses to turn off their videos unless they'd like to speak or to present an item. After turning your video on, you want to be engaged in the conversation, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. Finally, remember to identify yourself when making comments or asking questions. With that, Jess, will you please call the roll?
Regent President Menny-Deeds.
Here.
Regent Vice President Walsh.
Here.
Regent Atwell.
Here.
Regent Bechtel.
Here.
Regent Bogus. Here. Regent Cullin.
Here.
Regent Greavy.
Here.
Regent Jones.
Here.
Regent Klein. Regent Miller.
Here.
Regent Posh.
Here.
Regent Drew Peterson.
Here.
Regent Chris Peterson.
Here.
Regent Ashok Rai.
Here.
Regent Sackle. Regent Tucker. Here. Regent Underly. Here. Regent Weatherly.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Jess. For this part of the meeting, we have to hear if there are any conflicts regarding some of the items on our agenda. So are there any board members who wish to declare any conflicts of interest regarding today's open session agenda? Let's read them all.
Thank you. To avoid the appearance of conflict of interest, I recuse myself from discussion and voting on Business and Finance Committee Agenda Item J.
Jones.
In order to avoid the appearance of conflict of interest, I would like to recuse myself from discussing or voting on Resolution J from the Business and Finance Committee.
Please recuse yourself from discussing or voting on that item. Jess will record your conflicts for the record and for the minutes. Now, we get to the reports from the various committees that we've been having work on our different items this week. First is the Capital Planning and Budget Committee. Now I call upon Regent Rye to present a report of the Capital Planning and Budget Committee.
Thank you, Regent President Menny-Deeds. Capital Planning and Budget Committee meeting that occurred yesterday. The Capital Planning and Budget Committee met yesterday and heard a presentation by John Coker, Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and Sarah Nisus, Director, Polk Library of UW-Oshkosh, describing the university's efforts to modernize and reshape its traditional Polk Library into a research and study center. The building is old and requires renovation to upgrade it into a modernized library, like those of peer facilities with reconfigurable spaces that inspire concentration and collaboration. Senior Associate Vice President Alex Rowe provided a brief update on the August 2021 State Building Commission meeting. She also informed the committee about DOA's recent memo regarding distribution of the 2021 to 23 all agency funding to the university system. In a nutshell, university received $100 million of new general fund supported borrowing to address deferred maintenance issues across the 13 institutions and its 65 million gross square feet. This matches our capital budget request. However, the university has in process nearly 65 million of general fund supported borrowing as part of the 2019-21 all agency allotment. Instead of returning 65 million for unfinished projects, DOA withheld this amount, leaving us with 35 million of new general fund supported borrowing. DOA did provide $50 million of new program revenue supported borrowing as requested in the last capital budget and left residual funding in place for ongoing program revenue projects. The GFSB issue provides myself and other committee members grave concern. $35 million of new funding is woefully inadequate for the list of hundreds of projects, many of which fall into a life safety category. This issue deserves further attention and discussion from the entire board and advocacy from us as well. The committee considered 8 resolutions. On behalf of UW-Madison, the committee considered and approved item D, acceptance of a gift of 1.5 acres of land located near Upham Woods a field station situated on the Wisconsin River dedicated to providing educational opportunities to youth, youth leaders, and adults through programs focused on environmental and leadership education. Acquiring this property with its flat topography and safe access to the river will improve the functionality of Upham Woods program delivery by facilitating access to a landlocked parcel on the other side of the river from Black Hawk Island. With regard to item E for UW-Madison, good news, bids opened on Tuesday and they were on budget. So we did not need to entertain a budget increase for this project. Therefore, this item has been withdrawn. The committee approved item F on behalf of UW-Madison to enter into a real estate memorandum of understanding, MOU, with University Research Park Incorporated. The MOU outlines the process for collaboration between UW-Madison and URP to identify parcels for development. The agreement covers parcels on and off campus and addresses transfer and reversion rights. It also includes pricing mechanisms for land sales to URP, as well as transfer methods, ground lease and sale, that govern URP's control of the parcels. Finally, the agreement provides for the prudent investment of the development proceeds by URP to be used for the purpose consistent with URP's nonprofit mission in support of UW-Madison. Although this item was also discussed and approved at the Business and Finance Committee as well, I will include the final resolution with all other resolutions included in this report. The committee approved item G, brought by UW-Oshkosh to pay a City of Oshkosh special assessment for a roadway improvement project on Algoma Boulevard, Vine Avenue, and Black Hawk Street. The project, overseen by the City of Oshkosh, will reconstruct roadways and utilities on Algoma Boulevard and Vine Avenue, expand Algoma Boulevard to accommodate travel, bike, and parking lanes, as well as replace the sewer, water, and stormwater utilities along the roadways. The university's share of the project will be approximately $1.4 million of the $11.5 million total estimated cost. Another item on behalf of UW-Oshkosh, item H, was approved by the committee to construct the Cullin Hall Nursing Education Renovation Phase 2 project to complete the comprehensive remodeling of existing space that is no longer able to support current methods of teaching. The comprehensive renovation will remodel and reconfigure lecture halls, classrooms, learning laboratories, and offices in the nursing education building, including electrical, mechanical, and technology upgrades throughout. It also redeveloped space within Swart Hall and College of Letters and Sciences Dean's Suite, facility offices, a math tutoring lab, a general access classroom, and a forensics lab. The committee, on behalf of UW Stout, item I, to construct the South Hall addition and renovation project. The committee approved. The project will provide programmatic and infrastructure upgrades to improve functionality, efficiency, and building code compliance in South Hall. It also constructs a new accessible building entrance and passenger elevator. The comprehensive renovation includes expanded bathrooms, replacement of all mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, telecommunications, security and life safety systems, interior and exterior finishes, and roofing systems. Next, the committee considered and approved item J, brought by UW System, to construct 3 minor facilities renewal projects. First project installs 4 new sets of conductors between the athletic operations and Dayton Street switching stations and a new electrical duct bank from the Walnut Street substation to a utility pit within the campus utility corridor on Observatory Drive at UW-Madison. The continued growth of the West Campus has resulted in a critical need to provide more individual 15 kilovolt circuits to additional buildings and building expansions. The second project replaces elevators in 7 UW-Madison facilities: Babcock Hall, Bascom Hall, Below Alumni Center, Elvigem Museum of Art, Ingram Hall, Lathrop Hall, and Memorial Library. All elevators and controls in this project are at the end of their useful life, and many do not connect to the campus automated building system. The third project includes removal of the 1970 dust collection systems for 3 laboratories in UW Stout's Jarvis Hall Tech Wing. The units are failing and they're no longer able to contain the dust. The current system is undersized, does not include fire protection, and lacks modern safety enhancements and features. Again, on behalf of UW System, the committee approved item K to construct 4 all-agency maintenance and repair projects. The first project at UW Green Bay repaves the deteriorated Crest Center and Studio Arts parking lots, 2 pedestrian walkways near the Crest Center, and several campus sections of roadway. The second project for UW-Madison requests approval to increase the budget of the WHA transmitter utility and boardwalk replacement project to accept recent bids. This project replaces the wooden boardwalk with its associated electrical and telecommunication lines integrated into the boardwalk construction. The third project replaces the 60-year-old water main in the southeast quad at UW-Milwaukee that supplies domestic and fire protection water to several buildings, including Curtin Hall, Garland Hall, Golda Library, Pierce Hall, and Vogel Hall. The fourth project installs a new telecommunications duct bank at UW-Stout to serve as a backup internet and wide area network connection, installs additional conduit capacity for future use, and provides a more direct pathway for the building automation system connections for the buildings north of Sorensen Hall. And last, the committee considered and approved item L, Regent Policy Document Review, Regent Policy Documents related to capital funding and costs. This proposal rescinds RPD 19-1, prorating costs for heating chilling plants, and RPD 19-8, funding of university facilities capital costs, and updates and consolidates the provisions to create a new policy, university facilities, space, and physical development capital funding and costs. The revision to this policy is part of the board's ongoing analysis and revision of Regent policy documents. Proposed policy incorporates new language to address funding for the following activities: planning and design, demolition, deconstruction, and disposal, site development and improvement, off-campus and remote locations, athletics and recreational equipment and surfaces, signage, and energy conservation. The proposed policy also requires the allocation of sufficient operational funding to support proposed capital projects and physical development, including daily operations. I move items D, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L for approval.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion regarding any of these items? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Regent Ron. Next, I'll call upon Regent Atwell to present a report from the READY Committee of the Research, Economic Development, and Innovation Committee.
Thank you. The committee reviewed and approved the minutes of the July 8th meeting. We had 3 different panels presented yesterday, and I think it was widely thought that we could have spent the whole meeting on any one of these panels. After introducing new committee member Rod Posh, we launched into the first presentation regarding UW-Oshkosh's biogas program. Bob Roberts of UW-Oshkosh introduced Brian Langhol, who is the director of UW-Oshkosh biogas program. Brian was joined by Tony Long, who's president of Agra Energy, and it was an energetic discussion about efforts to bring economically effective biogas capture, in particular to the smaller farms, less than the thousands of animals, and kind of a review of what was going on at that particular farm. President Tony of Agra Energies spoke passionately about the need for students trained in biogas operation who were willing and want to live and work in rural areas, which is of particular importance. And the company's based in California and is well aware that they're not likely to find people who want to move to rural areas in Wisconsin, which really heightens the importance of this program for students at UW-Oshkosh. Next, New North Vice President Rebecca DeShane, formerly of the UW system before she shamelessly left for New North after we trained her, moderated a CEO panel with regional business leaders and UW-Oshkosh alumni, who pointed out, kind of gave us a real-time picture of the employment situation. Dan Ahrens was joined by UW-Oshkosh alumnus and Vice President of Operations for Silver Star Brands, which was formerly Miles Kimball here in Oshkosh, and Rebecca Timmons, a UW-Oshkosh alumna and the founder of Celebrate Neurodiversity, which is Fox City's child care and autism respite and resource center. There was not enough time for the whole presentation, but the general themes were the importance of availability of a well-trained workforce for the particular organizations in consideration. And notably, Dan Aarons in particular asked the university to, with my concurrence, to consider or help us understand as a state what the impact of the vaccine mandate on private employers might do to the size of the workforce in the state, which is already strained. And finally, we heard from Tom Erickson, a self-described small town boy who came some years back, 4 years back, I believe, to lead the School of Computer Science and the School of Computer Information and Data Sciences, and Remzi Apaki Dassault, Chair of Computer Sciences, as well as Michael Ellis, who's the Chief Customer and Digital Officer of Johnson Controls. It was a fascinating update on the growth and the importance of the data science and computing program at UW-Madison. So in closing, we continue to highlight the ways in which our faculty, staff, and students across the UW system are helping to build partnerships and collaborations to support the healthy growth of our regional economy. Regent President Manydeeds, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Regent Admiral. Now I'll call upon Regent Weatherly, our expert on all things audit, to give us a report regarding the audit committee.
Thank you, Regent President. The audit committee met yesterday morning. Chief Audit Executive Lori Stoltz reviewed the progress to date of the financial year 2022 audit plan. She confirmed that her office is making very good progress on that plan and expects to bring more reports to the committee in December. Ms. Stoltz then provided a high-level summary of the results of the audits recently issued by the Office of Internal Audit since we last met in July. This included an executive summary for the emergency grant aid payments to students under the CRRSAA, the Office of Internal Audit Annual Report 2021, the NCAA Division III, Go Titans, Athletics Financial Transactions Executive Summary, the Information Security Program Accountability, Phase 1, Executive Summary, and the Information Technology Disaster Recovery Backups, Phase 1, Executive Summary. Overall, she was pleased with the responses from management. Ms. Stoltz presented the Institute of Internal Audit's 3 lines model, which included a broad application that can, in my opinion, should be used by the UW system. The 3 lines model helps organizations identify structures and processes that best assist the achievement of objectives and facilitate strong governance and risk management. Accountability of all stakeholders is critical to the model's success. Ms. Stoltz concluded by seeking approval of an update to the Office of Internal Audit Charter and the fiscal year 2022 budget and resource plan, which we supported. Title IX and Clery Administrator Sarah Harbaugh presented a report on Title IX investigations. New permanent rules have been approved and in effect since June of 2021. They are working on the implementing a case management solution system-wide to allow for better communication and data analytics. The committee was very supportive of the work on this important matter and encouraged management to seek ways to further train staff, faculty, and students on the policy. Director of Risk Management Angela Ryan introduced Associate Vice President for Information Security Kathleen Meyer to present an update on the information security, IT security. She discussed the progress that has been made and the key steps we made to take place in order to best protect the UW system from IT security risks. The committee thanked management for their work, and their progress in better managing our risks. They stressed the need for a sustained investment in our budget to continue to improve our risk posture. Senior Associate Vice President of Finance, Julie Gordon, and Assistant Vice President and Controller, Ginger Hintz, presented a report on purchasing card administration and management. And I will say, on my behalf, I thought it was very impressive. The internal plan discussion was deferred until December due to time constraints, or otherwise known as bad time management by the chair. I move to approve resolution D4, the update to the Office of Internal Audit Charter, and resolution D5, the fiscal year 2022 budget and resource plan. That concludes my report.
Second, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Regent Weatherly. It's a great report. Now I'll call upon Regent Bechtel to present a report for the Business and Finance Committee. This is a long one.
Yeah, thank you, Regent President Many Deeds. And if there's a theme today, it's we had very busy agendas, very long meetings, and we were all challenged with time management. I went 1 minute, 55 seconds over on our 35 items to cover.
Evaluation.
Yeah, I know. So I've got 19 items to report, including 13 items for approval. We approved our July minutes, and then we enjoyed a presentation from our host campus, Jim Fletcher, the UW-Oshkosh Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration. He discussed a series of financial management measures undertaken by UWO, which over the last several years have helped to stabilize and balance the institution's financial posture while still prioritizing the university's education mission. The theme from red to green was very well received, and we are very appreciative of Mr. Fletcher's efforts as well as the chancellors and other leaders on the campus. Next, Sean Nelson, our media star from yesterday, the UW System Vice President for Finance, presented the UW System Program Revenue Balances Report for FY 2021. The report noted that total unrestricted expenditures decreased by 299 million, or 6.7%, between FY 2020 and FY 2021. Federal COVID relief totaling $289 million was allocated to the UW system just in that year, although the use of those funds is restricted to pandemic-related costs and lost revenues and not for recurring general operating expenses. And that bears emphasis. These are one-time funds. Additionally, the state's decision to rescind its mandated lapse resulted in program revenue balances being higher than anticipated. So again, in our state parlance, the decision to rescind is good for us. Since campus budget planners had already factored in the loss of the state revenue, we did a little better on that line item. As a result, UW System's total unrestricted program revenue balance increased by about $189 million in that FY 2021 period. This balance represents a reduction of $133 million, or 12.2%, since the inception of balance reporting in FY 2013. So again, over that span of time, we continue to reduce the balances. Also noteworthy is that 85.4%, so 85% of the unrestricted balance is already obligated for specific purposes. The committee approved the report. Next, we move to amend an existing contract with BP Logic for a business process e-workflow management system. This was originally furnished for UW-Milwaukee and since made available to all UW system institutions. This contract provides for setup and implementation assistance and additional services, including training, software support, and database hosting and storage. The amendment extends this contract an additional 3 years at an annual cost of $525,000. And again, looking at efficiencies and doing some things at the system level and just being smarter in our contracts, by renewing for 3 years at once, rather than 3 distinct annual contracts, that reduced total cost by almost $100,000. Next, the committee approved the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the UW system and the Building and Construction Trades Council of South Central Wisconsin. The parties negotiated for a 1.23% increase in base wages. Those will be effective January 2 of 22. We had another collective bargaining agreement to approve, that one between UW-Madison and the Trades Council under the same terms as earlier described. Next, we approved a space use agreement between our friends at UW-Milwaukee and US Cellular that allows US Cellular to continue placing its equipment on campus premises in exchange for better terms and more dollars for UWM. The initial contract was executed in 2000. This is a renewal. This one is for 5 years, 4 additional 5-year renewals that bring the anticipated total amount of fees paid to UWM in excess of $1 million. So congratulations to our friends at UWM. The committee then approved a series of clinical trial and study contracts agreements presented by UW-Madison. So again, Madison is leading the way in important research and doing partnerships with private sector, mostly in the biotech area, but we're most appreciative of what UW-Madison is delivering for the students, community, and staff. The first is a 5-year agreement with Bristol Myers Squibb. This allows the parties to specify distinct clinical study activities to perform by UW-Madison. To date, UW-Madison has executed 19 research or clinical trial agreements just with Bristol Myers Squibb, valued at over $2.5 million. This will be in a continuation of that arrangement. Next, the committee approved the initial master agreement between UW-Madison and Alexion Pharmaceuticals. This enables a faster activation for studies involving rare diseases. As an academic medical research institution, UW-Madison has a higher volume of patients that face rare diseases, and this agreement will allow these studies to reach more of these patients for the good of all. The committee also approved a master clinical trial agreement between UW-Madison and OM1. This is a Boston-based clinical research office with whom UW-Madison began a collaboration back in 2020. This 5-year agreement will create efficiencies that allow for increased future activities and provides the opportunity for investigators, this time from our School of Medicine and Public Health, to work with industry sponsors on real-world studies. Next, we approved a master agreement between UW-Madison and Diamond V. Mills. That's a subsidiary of Cargill. And this is initially intended to enable research by the Department of Animal and Dairy Sciences on animal feed additives, including a project aimed at controlling salmonella growth in poultry. The inclusion of Cargill as a party in this agreement will facilitate future research sponsored by its other subsidiaries, allowing this agreement to potentially extend to research involving additional units at UW-Madison, such as the Department of Bacteriology, the School of Veterinary Medicine, etc. The committee then approved a software and implementation services agreement with Huron Consulting Services. This is for cloud-based research administration software. This was acquired via request for proposals process. This contract cost is $8.9 million over 5 years. It's a critical component of the ATP, that's our Administrative Transformation Program. These products will facilitate the research administration process all the way from proposal development and pre-award requirements through post-award management and reporting. This expands the UW system's capabilities, modernizes our technology to meet the ever-changing regulatory requirements and support the world-class research enterprise here at the UW system. Again, a UW system level contract. Next, we looked at a request to authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the University Research Park. This item was also presented to the Capital Planning and Budget Committee, as described earlier by Regent Rye. The Business and Finance Committee likewise approved this MOU. And Regent President Many-Deeds, we look forward to reviewing some initial projects for UW-Madison, likely as soon as our December meeting. So they'll begin executing on this important MOU. The committee then approved an amendment to Regent Policy Document 12.1. This establishes the criteria institutions use to evaluate the appropriateness of university sales activities that compete with the private sector. It also requires that institutions form a competitive review committee that includes various public and private sector representatives. We then heard from Vice President Nelson and Chuck Saunders, Executive Director for the UW System Office of Trust Funds. And this one also is very interesting and will gain some efficiencies and improve some revenue. This deals with plans to develop a proposed investment strategy for gifts and grant funds and a governance model designed to align with strategic investment goals and an appropriate risk tolerance level. The UW system is one of the few academic institutions in the nation that currently does not administer a cash management program. We will change that. Utilizing existing statutory authority, this initiative aims to significantly increase revenue to support the academic mission of the university and remain competitive with peer institutions. So again, my compliments to Sean and his team for bringing this idea to us, and we will approve it hopefully with our vote today. Vice President Nelson then shared the FY21 budget to actuals report. This report notes that total revenues ended the fiscal year at 99.5% of the revised budget, with lower unrestricted revenues as a result of the pandemic's impact on auxiliaries and higher restricted revenues as a result of federal pandemic relief funding. Total expenses ended at 94.8% of the revised budget, or $342 million less than anticipated as a result of various factors, including furloughs, travel restrictions, and reduced purchasing. Next, Vice President Nelson gave a very brief update on COVID-19 related impacts on UW system. This has been an ongoing set of reports that he's provided He noted that 720 million in total revenue losses have been partially mitigated by federal relief and cost reduction steps, resulting in a total impact on the UW system of 330 million through the June of 2020 period. Vice President Nelson also provided a summary report on gifts, grants, and contracts awarded to UW system institutions. We have good news here. For FY 2021, they totaled nearly 2.3 billion, 32.1% increase from the prior year. We really didn't anticipate that. Federal awards increased 451.4 million or 41.2%, a majority of which relates to COVID-19 relief, which we've discussed. But here's the interesting point, or more interesting point. Non-federal awards also increased by nearly $106 million or 16.6%. This was a surprising and welcome increase, as we were concerned that with COVID, our private partner awards may have decreased. They actually increased. And for that, we as Regents are most grateful for the work done by the foundations and by our private partners. Trust Funds Executive Director Saunders continued with a presentation highlighting the investment report for the period ending June 30. Again, good news here. The UW system trust funds assets totaled $730 million. The fund's public equity investments increased by about 7% during the quarter. The bond investments returned 2.44%. The inflation-sensitive investments returned 4.13%. So for the quarter, the long-term fund increased in value over 8%, while the UW Fund Custom Benchmark increased 8.24%. The Income Cash Fund gained, not surprisingly, 0.01% for the period. Lastly, and aren't you glad to hear that? Julie Gordon, UW Systems Senior Associate Vice President for Finance, presented the cost-benefit analysis of foundations and other affiliated organizations report for FY20, which notes that UW System institutions identified 88 foundations and associated affiliated organizations that supported their missions in the fiscal year 2019 to 20. For that year, UW System institutions provided 13 million in administrative support. So we pay 13 million and we receive 307.7 million. So a nice return on investment. And again, as Regents, we are very appreciative of the work and the fiscal support that the foundations across the system provide to each of our campuses. We really do thank the foundations for everything they do. So in conclusion, and Chancellor Blank, you'll be happy to know that we're going to vote on the MOU a second time because we'll have that sucker buttoned up. Let's do it 3 times. What the heck? In conclusion, on behalf of Business and Finance Committee, I would now move the approval for agenda items C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and P.
Can't believe you went a minute over.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Well, next we go to the Education Committee. I want to thank, before we get there, Regent Bechtel for his concise reading of the work. Really appreciate it. Important business. Thank you, Scott.
Okay.
So, Regent Bogus, give us a report on the Education Committee, please.
Thank you, Regent President Many Deeds. I will try to be very concise and move through this pretty swiftly. At our meeting yesterday, the Education Committee approved resolutions related to 9 new degree programs, 2 revised mission statements, and received 2 presentations. Specifically, action items first included approval of the July 8th, 2021 meeting minutes and 7 UW-Madison degree programs. In keeping with UW-Madison's mission to serve students from diverse backgrounds and be responsive to those who have been underserved by higher education, the proposed programs are designed to expand access to a UW-Madison education while leveraging new modes of instructional delivery as part of its online learning initiative. The committee approved a Bachelor of Business Administration and Marketing, Business Administration and Management, Business Administration and Human Resources, Science and Human Development and Family Systems, Science and Consumer Marketplace Studies, Science and Consumer Finance and Financial Planning, and Liberal Studies and Applied Social Science. In addition, the committee heard a very informative, wonderful presentation from UW-Parkside and Gateway Technical College. After the presentation, we approved new liberal arts transfer programs for the Associate of Science and Associate of Arts and Liberal Arts from UW-Parkside and Gateway Technical College. This partnership demonstrates UW-Parkside's commitment to its mission in fostering the intellectual growth and career preparation within a liberal arts tradition of the students of the region. It shows a commitment to engage the community by providing additional opportunities for the citizens of Southern Wisconsin to advance their educational, career, and personal goals. Then, in the second of the two-part review and approval process, the committee approved revised mission statements at UW-Whitewater and UW-Stout. Chancellors Jim Henderson and Catherine Frank provided committee members with the contents of and process for the revised mission statement for the respective campuses since the first reading of the statements at prior committee meetings. The UW-Whitewater statement includes desired educational outcomes for the Whitewater graduate and its commitment to expand inclusive access. The UW-Stout mission represents its focus and identity as a polytechnic institution and underscores a commitment to prepare students for careers through applied learning and research, professional experiences, and collaborative partnerships. Next, UW-Oshkosh Provost John Coker provided a wonderful presentation as the host campus on the impact and involvement of UW-Oshkosh in the city and the surrounding region. Finally, Vice President Morabel Sosa and Laura Dunnick provided an update on the UW System Online Learning Initiative, which was funded by an anonymous gift made to help improve the quality and delivery of online teaching and learning. And then we heard from John Actor from System and Deirdre Dowsling from UW-Platteville about the 2021 Counseling Impact Assessment Report related to student behavioral health. Resident President Many-Deeds, this concludes my report. Therefore, I move for adoption by the Board Resolution C1 through C8, D1, and D2, E, and F. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have discussion, please. Yes, second.
Thank you, President Many-Deeds. I just wanted to share that recently I went to UW-Platteville and I was there to learn about their Higher Learning Commission that was doing an assessment for their accreditation. And I just want to recognize Vice President Ani Morover Sosa for being there, for your leadership and guidance while we were there. But I also want to give a special shout out to Chancellor Shields and all of his colleagues at UW-Platteville. I heard some very inspiring words, and here's what I heard from the commission: remarkable, enthusiasm, collaboration, optimism, a different tone, and recognized for superior performance. One thing I also learned in this process is that I need to be more involved with the individual campuses, because there was very specific questions that were raised to me about the individual campus. So I commit to visiting the other campuses to learn more about what they're doing, but I just want to give a special shout out. It was pretty inspiring, the words that I heard there.
Thank you, Regent Call. Do we have any other discussions or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Get my notes. So before I begin with the next part of the day, I would like to thank each committee and people ahead of the committees for all the work that you do each time that we get the materials, each time that you review them and hear the presentations and then present that to us as a full board. It's a lot of work. I understand that it takes time and we all appreciate it. So thank you. Next, we're going to a good part of our campuses, the athletic that is involved with many of the campuses. As board members, we routinely receive reports from our 3 universities who compete at the NCAA Division I level in athletics. Today, we're going to hear an overview of the Western Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, known as the WIAC, which includes 8 UW schools. WIAC is widely recognized as the premier Division III conference in the country, with 118 total NCAA championships since 1982 to 1983. And no, that's not all from Whitewater. This is very impressive indeed. But what's not all the conference is known for, they're also known for a significant leadership role in the governance structure of the NCAA and has been recognized for its advances in gender equality and the community activism of its student athletes. We've invited Chancellor Shields, the current chair of the WIAC Council of Chancellors, and Danielle Harris, the WIAC Commissioner, to tell us more. Chancellor Shields and Commissioner Harris, the floor is yours.
Making a presentation after Commissioner Harris gives you a bit more information. We have hear from some of our student athletes. I serve as the chair of the Council of Chancellors. It's a rotating post that keeps our chancellors engaged at a level both in the NCAA and hands-on in the administration of the conference. I'm ably assisted this year by Chancellor Catherine Frank from Stout, who on very short notice stepped forward. About a year ago, a little more than a year now, we went through a search. We had a long-serving conference commissioner. You'll learn about them, but we engaged in a national search and had the good fortune of finding an extraordinary candidate who accepted our offer, who you will hear from now. I introduce to you WIAC Conference Commissioner Danielle Harris.
Thank you, Chancellor Shields. Good morning, everyone. As many of you are probably aware, we have 8 core members that are affiliated with our conference. Eau Claire, La Crosse, Oshkosh, Platteville, River Falls, Stevens Point, Stout, and Whitewater. We also have 6 affiliate members. And our affiliate members, UW Superior for men's and women's ice hockey, Northland College for men's and women's ice hockey, and 3 affiliate members for women's gymnastics with Hamline University, Winona State University, and Gustavus College. Finlandia University is an affiliate member for baseball. Just a little bit about our current or our organizational structure. We are governed by our 8 Council of Chancellors. A lot of you guys will say, well, where is the WIAC office located? We are on the 3rd floor of 780 Regent Street. It's myself along with our Assistant Commissioner, Matt Stenick, and we have a part-time budget person, Lisa, who works with us as well. So a little bit about our conference. This conference has over 100 years of history, starting with the Wisconsin State University Conference that was established in 1913. In 1958, the Wisconsin Women's Intercollegiate Athletic Conference was formed. And then in 1997, both of those conferences joined together to form the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, known as the WIAC today. We are NCAA Division III, which is non-scholarship, non-athletic scholarship. Our student athletes compete at the highest level for the pure enjoyment of the sport. They do not have an athletic scholarship. We have over 5,000 students who participate every year across our 8 campuses, and we have over 70,000 students. We have nearly 40,000 alumni in the state of Wisconsin. I'm constantly and consistently meeting new people. I was just at the doctor's office yesterday, and my physician was a UW La Crosse former football player. So I'm constantly meeting our current student athletes as well as our former student athletes. We sponsor over 21 sports. Currently right now, fall, winter, and spring. We proudly tout ourselves as a conference that has won the most NCAA national championships of any other Division III conference, totaling at 118. We have captured NCAA championships in the majority of our sports, with the exception of 5, and hopefully we will continue to add to that total. Just a couple pictures there. We have Stevens Point men's hockey team with a national championship. We have UW-Eau Claire's women's softball team with a championship, UW-Whitewater's baseball team with a national championship, and UW women's outdoor track and field with a championship there as well, NCAA championship. The Learfield Directors Cup is something that it's for Division 1, 2, and 3. And in the year of 1819, this was the last year that it was calculated due to the pandemic. We have 5 teams in the top 51, which is extremely impressive. There are over 400 NCAA Division III institutions. So you can see there that teams consistently finish in the top half in the nation. Here are just some of our athletes that are in the professional ranks. I'll introduce another pro that we added this year later in the presentation. So we have athletes, major leagues, NHL, NBA, NFL. As many of you are aware, over the past 18 to 20 months has been extremely difficult for the entire world. No one could have predicted a global pandemic. However, with the help of our WIAC Council of Chancellors, our board chair, Chancellor Levitt, and system president Tommy Thompson, we were able to get the conference back up and running.
Thank you, President Thompson, for helping the WIAC smash COVID. It is because of your support and generosity our student athletes are back in action. Thank you.
Thank you for your support and generosity.
Thank you for letting us swim this season.
Thank you, President Thompson and UW System Administration, for your generosity and support of our student athletes, our teams, and our programs. We can't thank you enough for a chance to practice, play, and compete. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you for your support, generosity, and the opportunity for us to compete again.
Thank you for providing our UW-Oshkosh
men's basketball program the ability to return to the court.
Thank you for your support and generosity.
Thank you for getting us back into the gym. Thank you for your support and generosity.
Thanks for getting us.
Through it all, our student athletes not only persevered during this time, but they excelled in the classroom as well as on the athletic field. Every year, we give out the WIAC All Academic Award. And this year, this past academic year, all 8 institutions received that award for having a student athlete GPA of 3.0 or higher, which is equal to or greater than the GPA of the overall student body. So all 8 institutions accomplished that during the pandemic. From an athletic standpoint, the NCAA only hosted national championships for the spring. So here's how our spring sports finished up last year. UW-Eau Claire's men's outdoor track and field program They finished the national runner-up. UW-La Crosse's women's outdoor track and field program also finished runner-up. UW-Oshkosh's softball team advanced to the NCAA World Series for softball. UW-Whitewater's baseball team finished as a regional runner-up. We had a draft pick this year, which many of you may have heard of. UW-Whitewater's Quinn Miners was drafted in the 3rd round, 98th overall in the NFL draft by the Denver Broncos, and he's actually performed very well this season. UW-La Crosse's Natalie Sims was also a member of the women's, she's a member of the women's swimming and diving team, and she participated in the 2020 Tokyo Paralympic Games this summer. Some of our goals for this year, for 2021, is obviously to continue to provide a safe and championship experience for our student athletes while we're continuing to navigate COVID. Another goal that we have is helping our student athletes navigate the ever-changing landscape of intercollegiate athletics as it relates to name, image, and likeness. And our third priority is helping the NCAA is currently going through an NCAA constitutional review process. And we're fortunate enough to have Assistant Vice Chancellor of Athletics here at UW-Oshkosh, Daryl Sims, who serves in that capacity on that committee, and Chancellor Shields, who serves in the advisory committee that is helping the NCAA navigate this ever-changing landscape that we have. So those are just our 3 top priorities this year for the 21-22 academic year. At this time, we thought that it would be great that you hear from some of our student athletes as well as one of our faculty athletic reps. We're going to start with Melanie Barron. She's the faculty athletic rep here at UW-Oshkosh. So Melanie.
Thank you. As Danielle said, my name is Melanie Marine, and I am one of 2 faculty athletic representatives here at UW-Oshkosh. My role on campus is essentially a liaison between the academic side of the house as well as the athletic side of the house. So I do all sorts of different things in my role, constantly working with the athletic department regarding eligibility, any other concerns that could come up. There are staff meetings. I meet with different students. I meet with coaches and all those different types of things. One of the things that we're really proud of here at UW-Oshkosh is that we have a Team Fellows program. I'm a relatively new Team Fellow, or a relatively new faculty athletic rep. This is only my 2nd year. So I had the privilege of being a part of the NCAA's new faculty athletic representative program and training development. So I did that virtually this past year, and in participating, I found out that the UW system through the WIAC are very different in that we have 2 faculty athletic reps, and they must be a female and a male. And I think that's very important and states to our entire system as how we are very inclusive and represent that way. Most other universities only have 1. This is solely a volunteer position. And I'm happy to say that they have never had trouble filling this volunteer position because we see as faculty how important the relationship is between absolutely everyone on our campus, including our student athletes. One of the other things that I learned that were unique is that we have what we call a Team Fellow program. Some of you may have heard that other universities have Faculty Fellow program. When this program began before my time, about 5 years ago, we found it very important at UW-Oshkosh to include not just faculty, but professional academic staff as well. So every single team at UW-Oshkosh has what we call Team Fellows, faculty or professional academic staff, who are paired with a group of faculty or with a group of students. We meet directly with the coaches and the fellows together decide which students would connect best with the faculty or the staff member. So we can be very strategic, both with diversity and inclusivity, with majors, with maybe some mental health issues as someone from the counseling center helps on that team. And it's been a very good pairing. The team fellows on campus, we have a training once a semester. And my role as a faculty athletic representative is to coordinate this team fellow program. So we start our training with a bit of education. For example, we just had our training 2 weeks ago, and the topic of this semester is mental health. Given that we just came off of the Olympics and mental health and athletics has been brought to the spotlight, we wanted to continue that here at UW-Oshkosh. So Counseling Center came in and gave some training both to the team fellows and the coaches with regard to mental health, things that we can look for, things that we can discuss, and most importantly, how we can take our students and provide them the services or guide them to the services that they may need as they are competing. Then we split up after that training and do just an update as team fellows, and then we get together with our coaches and have discussions. I am a team fellow for the football program on campus, so I'll just kind of give you an example. I have a group of 10 students that I work with throughout the semester, and the way each coach kind of puts together what they see would fit best with their athletes. So our coach here has decided that my role is more of a mom, and I'm kind of their mom away from home. So there's someone that they can talk to. I've had any sort of questions. It's just another avenue for our students to connect with the faculty and staff on campus and to ensure that they have what they need to be successful and ultimately graduate from here. So it's been a wonderful opportunity in meeting with them. What's even more exciting is us attending their competitions. I love nothing more than seeing my students compete and then afterwards being introduced to their family and friends. And it ends up becoming one big family. And I think that helps so much with their connection to campus and ensuring that they have a positive experience as a student athlete, as well as becoming a graduate and alum of the program.
So I will be speaking next. My name is Cody Elsey, and I'll just be talking a little bit about my experience here at UW-Oshkosh. I'm from Watertown, Wisconsin, so if you're not familiar where that is, it's right in between Madison and Milwaukee. I am a senior here at UWO. I am an elementary education major, and I'm on the men's swim and dive team. I typically compete in a breaststroke and distance freestyle, so I'll swim between 500 yards and up to a mile. It takes quite a long time, so. My plans for after graduation, I plan to go to graduate school for professional counseling in hopes to be a guidance counselor at like a middle school or a high school. So it's kind of my plan after graduation. So my experience as being an athlete here at UWO, I walked onto the swim team here, and that's very different than a lot of my peers. A lot of my peers had recruiting trips, and they knew a lot of the team before they started the semester. I actually met the team a week into the semester. It was before the season started, but it was very different than my other teammates. But one thing that I noticed was right off the bat, my coach, teammates, team fellows, and the entire athletic department, they were all in my corner supporting me to compete the best that I can in the pool, but also in academics. We were very, like we as in my coach and my teammates, we're very like strong when it comes to academics. We try to push each other to do the best that we can, which is something that I'm very grateful for to have that support. One thing that I love about UWO is our meet and greet that we have in the beginning of the year. Due to COVID, we haven't been able to have it these past couple of years, but my freshman and sophomore year, we had an all athlete meet and greet where all the athletes came together and kind of talk to each other a little bit, just try to meet other sports, which is a very, I think, fun experience because I get to meet more people. And going in as a freshman, that was very helpful because I didn't know anybody. So it was very nice. Another thing I love about that is we take a picture as an all athlete, like all of us Titans. And I think that's pretty cool. So, what being an athlete kind of taught me a lot about time management. With swim practices early in the morning, I kind of built my schedule around that. I was already up for practices, so I had no excuse not to go to class. So that was very helpful. So just time management altogether really helped. Dedication, again, with those morning practices, I really had to be dedicated to attend all those practices, all of our meets. So I was very dedicated. And then lastly, and probably one of the most important, is teamwork. I already mentioned a little bit about the academic support that we had, but we as just teammates, all my peers and everything, we're pushing each other to study, go to classes, cheering each other on at meets. And then one of our goals is to improve our team GPA. And so you might not think that swimming is very much a team sport. It seems very individualized, but there is a lot of there's a very big team aspect into that. Bringing it to the WIAC conference, I love competing against other schools in this conference because there's a very big range of athletic ability. And so I'm always racing up against someone. We're always neck and neck. There's always a person that's way above me that I'm trying to race up to. And so I love that there's a very good range of athletic ability. I also love the diversity in the WIAC. There are athletes that that are part of different races, ethnicities, and that have different sexualities, and just athletes that come from different places and backgrounds. And I think that is something that should be continue to be celebrated. And so I just love that we are a very diverse conference. The last thing that I have for myself is my goal for the future of the WIAC. I hope that that the whole conference kind of keeps that team mindset and supports one another, and in my case, in the pool and in the classroom. So, thank you.
On the second next, my name is Radia Jarvis. I'm from Brookfield, Wisconsin, about 15 miles west of Milwaukee. I'm a senior majoring in business management with a certificate in international business. I'll be going into my 4th year as part of the UW gymnastics team, where I compete vault, bars, and floor. Our goal this season as a team is to bring home the national championship that we weren't able to in 2020 and that we didn't have a chance to compete for in 2021. We know that in order to fulfill this goal, we must have good team chemistry, and this is just one of the many lessons that I've been able to learn as a student athlete. The others include how to be a leader, how to deal with conflict, how to manage time, as Cody mentioned, and how to be a good role model to all of the other gymnasts coming onto the team. I really believe that being in the sport will help me as I enter my future and my goals in life. My time here has been extremely gratifying, not just because of individual and team accomplishments, but just because of the community that is the WIAC and UW-Oshkosh. We have a super competitive relationship with other WIAC schools, but we also continue to support and encourage each other in a friendly competition manner. The sportsmanship is, in my opinion, super unique to our conference. As Cody mentioned, there's a wide range of athletic ability, but we're always competing neck and neck with each other, and it's just kind of fun to be able to compete and then laugh and joke about it later when you see each other other places. I've been pretty active in my 4 years. I've had the opportunity to attend multiple different leadership style conferences. One of those was the WIAC SAC conference that I attended after my freshman year. SAC is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. It's present on every campus. It's like an NCAA sanctioned committee. It's made up of athletes from different teams. We come together to discuss and make decisions regarding the student athlete experience. Our motto is 19 teams, 1 Titan family. So we try to just really come together and align our goals because even though we all do different sports, we learn the same lessons and we have the same experiences. And it's kind of cool to be able to talk about it and make sure that we're all kind of on the same page and getting what we want out of being student athletes and in school. At this specific conference, I was paired up with an athlete from a different WIAC school as a roommate for an entire weekend. It was kind of intimidating, you know, being in a room with someone you don't really know at all. But we attended meetings, we played games, and we just got to hang out as like a conference, really. It was really cool to see like different cultures people are a part of, different perspectives that they had. I feel like these relationships went a lot further than just athletics and further than sports. It was a really good networking opportunity to meet people who I might, you know, run into later in life in the workplace. After I graduate this spring, I have hopes to attend law school to pursue a degree in sports law, hopefully at either Villanova, Marquette, or Tulane. Coming into college, I knew I wanted to pursue a career in sports, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go into professional sports or collegiate sports. But I was given the opportunity to work in the athletic department office. I got to work with coaches and our administrators, our athletic director, that I felt like they were really there to help me further my interests, and they genuinely cared about what I cared about, which was really, really cool. I feel like this is something that's unique to being at a smaller school, a Division III school. There's no one on this campus that I don't feel confident really cares about my career and my future and my goals. I feel like every conversation I've had with a faculty member, a staff member, a coach, or an administrator has really been beneficial, and I truly felt like they cared about me as a person. Now I am 100% confident that I want to pursue a career in sports and sports law specifically. My goal to when I leave UWO is to leave it as a more inclusive and accepting environment. I've kind of worked in my 4 years to create a safe space where athletes specifically, but I hope that in the end it can be the entire campus, can come together and talk about things that are sometimes difficult to talk about, but in a safe space where no one's worried about judgment or saying the wrong thing. I also hope that any Division III athletes that come after me know the importance of Division III athletics. We come every day, we go to practice, we go to school, not because we have any incentives to, but because we genuinely have a passion for what we're doing and we want to be here. So I think that's really unique to Division III. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And lastly, I always plug our conference. Please make sure that you are following us on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at WIAC Sports. If we have time, I don't know if we do, but if there's any questions from Regents or myself or.
Any questions for Regent Peterson?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great presentation, great commentary from our athletes. Can you talk a little bit about how we went through the COVID protocol testings of last year? I mean, certainly we saw the video, but just tell us administratively how you handled that.
Yes, we worked, you know, kudos to our athletic trainers. They are really the unsung heroes in this whole entire process. And we worked with them in tandem on our guidelines, specifically how many times we're going to test a week. We got some guidance from the NCAA, and our Council of Chancellors, to their credit, they wanted to follow the NCAA. They wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing to keep our student athletes safe. So we, you know, took guidance from the NCAA. We got together with our athletic trainers and we came up with our testing protocols. We came up with our guidelines. As you are aware, not every county was doing the same thing within the state of Wisconsin. So it did create some challenges. However, we were able to work through those things. And we came up with, you know, a 12 to 15 page document of our policies and procedures into how we were going to test our student athletes, how we notified another institution if there was a positive case. We worked with our disease investigators and our contact tracers on our campuses. Our athletic trainers worked in tandem with our local county public health officials. So it was really a collaborative effort in order to get us all off the ground. And, you know, I think the thing that our coaches and our athletes realized the most is they just wanted to play. They just wanted to play. And so once we were able to get through that process, we kind of, you know, it's like if you haven't ridden a bike in a long time, you get back on it and you get into the flow of things. But it was truly a collaborative effort with different departments on campus. And then just from the conference office standpoint, I worked a lot with system on when were the tests arriving to campus, how many tests we needed. So to system's credit, they were outstanding to work with, just getting us the resources that we needed in order to compete.
Any other questions for the commission? Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danielle. We're very fortunate to have Danielle Harris as our conference commissioner. And before I recognize our former conference commissioner, let me make a couple of observations. Number one, the NCAA gets a lot of flack these days. I serve on the management council. I've served on the president's council. Currently, my colleague James Schmidt serves on the president's council, and untold other members of our conference serve in a variety of other positions in the governance process of the NCAA. We're very proud to be leaders in the NCAA and be actively engaged. And I will tell you, the Sports Science Institute, one of the most fabulous doctors I've ever met, Dr. Hanlon, has provided extraordinary leadership for college athletics in navigating the pandemic. So every time you hear somebody say something evil about the NCAA, remember there are good people there who are doing fabulous things that are supporting our interest in that process. Today, I'm here on behalf of my colleagues on the Council of Chancellors for the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference to recognize our long-serving and extraordinary conference commissioner. My thanks to University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh Chancellor Andy Levitt and their athletic director, Daryl Sims, who helped with the presentation today and were very representative of what this conference does. Now, a conference is only successful if it is well-run, well-administered, and certainly individually on our campuses, my colleagues and our athletics directors do a remarkable job. But there's an extraordinary amount of management and, the work that needs to happen to make this happen. Officiating, the officials don't show up for games magically. You have to coordinate that. There is a shortage of officials. The conference commissioner has to do that. Coordinating our governance process. As you can see, we have a student athletic academic advisory groups. We have the faculty athletic reps. You have the all of the chancellors that you have to sort of herd in generally the direction they need to be. There's an extraordinary amount of work with the NCAA coordinating things and making sure that we're following the guidelines, but also having the influence that we should given the quality of the institutions we have participating. So it is a remarkable job. Gary Karner served in that role for 22 years. I had the pleasure of serving as the chair of the Council of Chancellors. This is my second. It rotates around, and worked closely with Gary on a number of occasions during my service there. As you've heard, our conference dominates Division III. I'm confused about the exact number. We know that there have been at least 76 national titles won by our teams in Division III. And we think that's more than any other conference. Our chancellors and athletic directors serve in critical roles of the NCAA. You just heard that athletic director here at University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, Darrell Sims serves on this extraordinary constitutional amending body. So we are a force in Division III, and our commissioners listen to. Some of the innovations that Gary introduced to the conference is an extraordinarily well-enhanced corporate partnership program, engaging Alliant Energy, American Family Insurance, the Army, Badgerland Financial, Culver's, Dodge, First Star, GTE, Hewlett-Packard, Holiday Inn, Impact Sports, Quick Trip, Ministry Healthcare, UW Cellular, Verizon Wireless, Wisconsin Education Association Council, Wisconsin Department of Transportation, and the Wisconsin National Guard. The support that we received in them, these entities, which wasn't occurring before Gary came on board, enhances the experiences of our student athletes, the championship experience, the leadership training they get, and it is, I think, cutting edge in Division III, and has set a very high bar for Danielle to meet moving forward. A few other highlights. You may not know, and we're very grateful to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but each year there's an exhibition game that one of our Division III teams gets to participate in, both the men and the women's basketball, in the Cole Arena with the University of Wisconsin Badgers. Doesn't necessarily end well for us, but it is an extraordinary experience for our Division III athletes to play in a big time arena, play a Division I school, and the gate receipts are shared with the conference and distributed to the conference, so it helps us extraordinary. That's an innovation that Gary brought about. I think one of the most extraordinary things he did is he was serving, I think you heard the conference, and it has its roots going back to 1913. By his leadership, we had a centennial celebration that was attended by 1,400 individuals and recognized two people from each conference that had a tremendous impact on the conference. It was an extraordinary event and took a lot of work and provided a venue for a bit of an endowment that supports the conference. And he led the establishment of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Hall of Fame. And importantly, on the sort of functional side, led the founding of the involvement of our conference football and men's basketball teams in the officiating consortium won by the Big Ten Conference. For all of those things, I am honored to present the following certificates. I don't know where they are. Okay. Gary, would you come on up? On behalf of the state of Wisconsin, signed by Governor Evers for his commitments to public service. This is, I'll read it briefly to you. On behalf of the residents of the state of Wisconsin, I congratulate you on the occasion of your retirement and thank you for your 22 years of dedicated service. Your commitment to public service has greatly contributed to the well-being and the quality of life of all Wisconsinites. You have brought proficiency as well as expertise to your profession and will serve as an excellent role model for others to follow. I extend my personal thanks to you for the contributions you have made to the state of Wisconsin. My best to you for an enjoyable and rewarding retirement. January 8th, 2021. Signed, Governor Toner Evers. And from the Board of Regents, Certificate of Meritorious Service awarded to Dr. Gary Karner in recognition of 22 years of dedicated service to the University of Wisconsin system and the appreciation for a valuable contribution to public higher education in Wisconsin, signed January 8th, 2021. And it's signed by President of the Board of Regents, Peterson and the president of the system, Ray Cross. Thank you.
I'd like to read a resolution of appreciation for Gary Karner. Whereas Gary Karner has served 24 years as the commissioner of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, WIAC, a Division III conference consisting of 8 institutions from within the University of Wisconsin system. And whereas the WIAC solidified its status as the premier Division III conference in the country, as evidenced by the 76 NCAA national championships the conference captured during his tenure. And whereas prior to becoming WIAC commissioner, Gary spent nearly 8 years with the National Collegiate Athletic Association National Office, playing a key role in developing the institutional compliance review process, as well as the NCAA Division I Athletic Certification Program, and serving as a liaison to NCAA committees. And whereas Gary served as the president of the National Association of Division III Athletic Administrators, a member of its Sportsmanship and Ethical Conduct Committee, a member of the Executive Committee of the NCAA Division III Commissioners Association, and member of the NCAA Interpretations and Legislation Committee and Division III Baseball Committee. And whereas Gary was selected as an Outstanding Commissioner of the Year by the All-American Football Foundation in 2007, and is also the 2011 recipient of the Division III Commissioners Association Meritorious Service Award, as well as the Distinguished Service Award from the National Association of Division III Athletic Administrators in 2003 and 2011. And whereas Gary spent nearly 13 years in public education as a teacher, coach, and administrator in Wisconsin and Colorado, earning his bachelor's degree from UW-Stevens Point and his master's and doctorate from UW-Madison. And whereas Gary helped the WIAC celebrate its 100th anniversary during 2012 to 13, conducting numerous activities to recognize one of the most successful conferences in NCAA Division III, including creating a centennial documentary and calendar, hosting a banquet attended by more than 1,400 guests from all corners of Wisconsin, as well as 22 other states and Canada, commissioning a piece of centennial artwork by premier photorealism artist Tim Cortez, selecting all-time teams for every sport the conference has sponsored during its 100 years, and personally engaging in a statewide centennial speaking tour. My gosh, you must be exhausted. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin system hereby offers thanks to Gary Karner for his outstanding service as the longest serving commissioner in the history of Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and commendation for his many life achievements.
I'm almost at a loss for words, the operative word being almost. You know, when I came back home to Wisconsin, left the NCAA in 1996, I didn't, in my wildest dreams, imagine that I was going to stay for 24 years. But I did because of the support that I received and this conference received from Presidents Lyle, Riley, and Cross, and I know will continue to receive from President Thompson and those that succeed him. But I also, you know, Dennis left out the most important accomplishment of my 24 years. That is that I reported to and outlasted over 40 chancellors in the WIAC. So, seriously, the support I received from the chancellors all those years was remarkable. And, you know, that may sound simple, But it's not simple for chancellors to overlook what might be in the best interest of their school or their institution and act on behalf of what's in the best interest of the conference as a whole. That is so important because as a commissioner, you cannot function. As a conference, you cannot function unless chancellors are willing to do that. I also have to thank the UW system administration. I mentioned the presidents, but the staff. They had to put up with me for 24 years. And if any of them are here today, they can attest to what kind of a challenge that was. So I want to thank them. I also want to thank our athletic directors, our athletic administration on all of our campuses, our faculty athletic reps, the hundreds of coaches that coached in the WIAC each and every year that I was here. Most importantly, I want to thank the tens of thousands of student athletes who competed in the WIAC over my 24 years and always gave the ultimate effort and never left anything on the field. They are remarkable. And as Danielle put up there on the screen, in the WIAC, they are truly students first. I know you hear that, and the media kind of mocks it sometimes, but they don't receive athletic scholarships. They're putting in this, they have the same academic pressures as any other student has. Plus, they're putting in countless hours into their sport or sports. And plus, they have to basically put themselves through school. So when you add up all those things, and the community service, by the way, which the WIAC is also renowned for its community service. When you add all that up, I mean, I sometimes would shake my head. I couldn't believe it, what our student athletes were doing on a day-to-day basis. There was a reporter from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel one time who stated that the WIAC is a state treasure. Okay? And, you know, one statistic that wasn't up on the screen that I think you all need to be aware of, 80% of our student athletes come from the state of Wisconsin. And people used to ask me a lot, you know, there's a lot of conferences that are very jealous of us, as you might imagine. Is there 44 now, Danielle? 44 Division III conferences in the NCAA Division III? And they all want to be the WIAC. And they used to ask me, what's the secret to your success? And I start off by saying, well, first it's the commissioner. But seriously, I think the secret to our success, besides the things that I've all mentioned already, is that our student athletes, the vast majority of them, 80% of them, are products of the state of Wisconsin. And our high school system and the academics, academic preparation, their athletic prowess, we owe a lot to the state of Wisconsin for that. And there's nothing like that anywhere in the country. You will not find a conference like that at any division. So I'll leave you with this. Don't take this conference for granted. Success, it's the most accomplished conference, as you heard, in NCAA Division III history. Please don't take it for granted because those things can be fleeting sometimes. On behalf of my wife, Judy, who's here, thank you for bringing us out from Colorado for this event. I thank everyone who's been a part of this recognition, and the WIAC will always be part of me. And if you continue to support it, you might get a tie like this. But seriously, thank you very much. Very much appreciate being here, and thank you.
All right, now it's time for one of our most enjoyable responsibilities as a board. That is the presentation of regional awards. Today, we present the first annual Regents Award for university staff. We will recognize outstanding members of the staffs from 3 of our campuses. We honor these individuals for their extraordinary support and opportunities they offer our students. To lead the awards presentation, I turn the floor over to Regent Michael Green.
Thank you. It's really a great pleasure to be here today to welcome our distinguished guests. We're good. to welcome our distinguished guests, the recipients of the inaugural Regents University Staff Excellence Awards. We also are happy to welcome family, friends, and colleagues who are joining us for this award presentation today. Welcome to all of you. Today's awards are part of a special family of awards that we as Regents sponsor. They include the Diversity Awards, the Teaching Excellence Awards, and the Academic Staff Awards, which recognize exceptional service. In an important way, these university staff awards fill out that roster of recognition. The Regents University Staff Excellence Awards, which we present here this morning for the first time, was established through a board directive to formally recognize the dedicated work, vital services, and outstanding initiative and contributions of the UW system's administrative staff. University staff. I'd like to recognize Regent Emerita Olivia Woodmansee for her role in creating these awards, and frankly, without Olivia's imperative and diligence, I don't think we'd be here making these awards today. I'd also like to thank the staff review committee led by Jeremy Johansky at UW System Administration, and to acknowledge the team at the UW System who manage all of the details behind the scenes for this and the other region awards. That team includes Ann Fisher, Jennifer Moore, and Megan Wasley. Thank you very much for your work. I'd also like to thank my fellow Regents on the committee who will be helping present the awards this morning. Regents Scott Bechtel, Drew Peterson, and Kyle Weatherly. This morning, we're pleased to honor two individuals and one program who have helped make our UW institution so respected and second to none. Their outstanding work, along with the work of university staff system-wide, strengthens and invigorates not only our UW institutions, but the communities in which they serve as well. If anybody wants to learn a little more about our award winners, I invite you to check out their profiles on the Board of Regents website. Chairing this selection committee was both gratifying and challenging because so many university staff are doing so much extraordinary work throughout the UW system to support our mission. So before we present this year's first ever award recipients, I'd like to take a moment to briefly acknowledge the other nominees. Individual nominees included Nicole Owen from Eau Claire, Brittany Heineman from La Crosse, Micah Roberts from Madison, Tyler Claver from Oshkosh, Heather Spencer from Parkside, Patty Mitch from Platteville, Jason Wenjet from River Falls, Betty Conkle from Stevens Point, Joe Johnson from Stout, Brenda Dalpiez from Superior, and Nick Szynski from Whitewater. Program nominees included UW-Eau Claire's Commencement Office, UW Green Bay's Police Department, UW La Crosse's Custodial Services, UW River Falls Central Stores Receiving and Postal Services, UW Stevens Point Dining and Summer Conferences, UW Stout's University Dining Service, and UW Whitewater Sustainability Office. Again, on behalf of our committee, I'd like to thank all the nominees for taking the time to submit materials for their important contributions. It's really a pleasure to be making these awards today. And with that, I'd like to invite up Regent Weatherly. Excuse me, Regent Bechtel.
Wouldn't want to have to follow Kyle, so this is good. Hey, this is a fun day for us, and this is a fun award, and it's my great privilege to present the very first 2021 Board of Regents University Staff Award in the individual category to Brenda Cullin, Academic Department Associate for the Department of Economics at UW-Milwaukee. Now, Brenda has served UW-Milwaukee for 42 years. Since 2011, she served as Office Manager for the Department of Economics, where her efficient service and morale-boosting contributions have enhanced the sense of community and equity in both the department and more broadly throughout the university. For example, Ms. Cullin suggested cost-saving measures in the department that have supported faculty and graduate level research. She also initiated the creation of a graduate student lounge to help provide a sense of community and a space for undergraduate and graduate economics students to study together and to get to know one another. Ms. Cullin has served on multiple executive level search and screen committees, several times at the request of the Chancellor of UWM.
and she currently serves as the treasurer to her local union. She is committed to ensuring university staff receive appropriate and fair governance. She also became the inaugural chair of the University Staff Grievance Committee at UWM and completed additional leadership training for that role. Brenda is co-chair of the African Diaspora Council, an employee resource group that she was integral in helping to revive. She helped establish the council's scholarship program to support more African-American students, while also supporting UWM's focus on expanding access. Over the last 4 years, the council has awarded over $38,000 to 21 scholars. And to date, 19 of these students, 19 of 21, have graduated from UWM. That's remarkable. Brenda also spearheaded the council's fundraising that provides 2 Milwaukee public schools with school supplies, offering much needed support that became even more important during the pandemic. The department chair noted of Brenda, quote, "We are more collegial, compassionate, and student-centered because of Brenda." So it is my distinct honor on behalf of all of the regents here today to present this 2021 University Staff Excellence Award to Brenda Cullin of UW-Milwaukee.
Thank you. I would like to say good morning to everyone this morning. I'm hoping everyone is doing well. It is a blessing to stand before you and accept this inaugural University Staff Excellence Award. Before answering the question, what it takes to be an outstanding university staff member, I would like to take the opportunity to thank those that made this possible. First, I would like to thank my nominators, Ms. Diana Borders and Professor Rebecca Newman, for them seeing the work and service I achieved worthy of being acknowledged and honored. Secondly, I would like to thank the UWM University Staff Awards Committee for seeing the depth and breadth of my work and its impact on the university and the surrounding communities we serve on moving forward my nomination. And lastly, the Regents Selection Committee for acknowledging my work as that of excellence. Over the past 42 years, I have strived to be good at what I do, whether it's for my work, my service at UWM, or the volunteer service I do in the surrounding community. I have come to realize that as a Black woman, you must wear many hats and not be good, but great. I stand before you to briefly answer what it takes to be an outstanding university staff member. Over time, I have stepped out on faith to be a trailblazer for those coming after me by creating a safe space to strive and succeed, to be an advocate for our students, especially students of color, and a voice for the voiceless of our staff. As a Black woman that have been acknowledged for her excellence, I leave you with this account of how I see myself as an outstanding staff member. Just visualize, when you turn on the television, radio, go online, you will read about giants in our midst who command large staffs, head boards or corporations, and then come before us to be celebrated as he or she rose for us to admire. They are paid huge wages. They are highlighted in the media and in our conversations, working with partners, yet taking most of the credit. They are celebrated constantly and paid. Now I ask you, sit back and absorb the magic of this gentle giant that stands amongst us, and that is me. Every single day, I repeat this phrase. How do I advocate, support, and help the students and staff? Unlike those giants, this gentle giant in our midst never celebrates herself. Rather, she celebrates those who collaborate with her and those that she serves. I would like to thank you once again for this honor, and may you all have a blessed day.
Congratulations. I don't want to follow either Regent Bechtel or the first recipient. This is quite intimidating, but here we go. Our second University Staff Excellence Award for 2021 in the individual category goes to Monika Pynaker, who serves as both the Manager of Network Services and Interim Manager of Client Services at UW Green Bay. Monika has worked at UW Green Bay's Division of Information Technology for 20 years. She is currently responsible for ensuring the university's computer networks run smoothly and without interruption. In the summer of 2019, her leadership and vision enabled the university to integrate 3 additional campuses, computing and network systems into one, all from the former UW-Manitowoc, UW-Marinette, and UW-Sheboygan campuses. Soon after, the COVID-19 pandemic required her team to transition to a network built primarily for in-house teaching and learning to one that could support virtual instruction, telecommuting, and conferencing, all in 1 week's time, back in March of 2020. This work included quickly converting hundreds of computer lab workstations into remote labs that allowed students to access the needed software. During her tenure, Monika had also formed beneficial partnerships with outside agencies, including Brown County's Infrastructure Services. This enabled vital coordination of wired and wireless connectivity and other services for Brown County STEM Innovation Center construction on campus. Ms. Pynaker is known for her willingness to help colleagues and share her expertise. She has been elected or appointed to numerous committees, including the University Staff Committee, Professional Development Committee, and the University Planning and Innovation Council. Along those lines, UWGB's Chief Business Officer extended these words to describe the honoree. Monika does not shy away from a challenge. Rather, she rises not only to meet the expectations, but surpass them. I am honored to present the second University Staff Excellence Award to Monika Pynaker of UWGB. Monika.
Good morning, Regents, Chancellors, Provosts, and all those in attendance today.
I am honored and humbled to be before you and to have been selected to receive this award. Thank you, Regent President Manydeeds, President Thompson, and Regents for your generous recognition of my work. Thank you also, Regent Grebe and members of the University Staff Excellence Awards Committee for your work reviewing the nominations. I know that all the individuals put forward are equally as deserving as I, and I extend my sincerest congratulations to them as well. I would like to thank the individuals who made this possible, especially my team, who never fails to come through for me. I would be nothing without all of you, and I am blessed to work for and with so many talented and hardworking individuals. Paula Ganyard, my former CIO and mentor, it is you that gave me my wings and encouraged me to fly. I can never thank you enough for your support, trust, and advice, and I share this honor with you. Cheryl Van Gronson, CBO and Senior Vice Chancellor for Institutional Strategy, thank you for putting forward my nomination and supporting my professional development and growth. I am so grateful for the opportunities you have provided me, and I'm proud to work for such strong and capable female leaders. I look forward to continuing my growth under the new CIO, Wendy Woodward. The University Staff Committee for teaching me what a privilege it is to sit at the table and positively impact our environment. You do great work, and I appreciate your support and friendship. My colleagues and my family who encourage me, support me, and keep me grounded. And to my mom in heaven, who prayed for years that I would get my act together. I think it's finally working. I was asked to include some remarks on what it takes to be an outstanding university staff member. In my opinion, I believe it starts with getting involved, whether through your governance unit, campus events, or volunteering to serve on a committee. Learn as much as you can about the mission and the vision of the university. At UW Green Bay, we are fortunate to have clearly articulated goals from leadership. Our strategic priorities provide a framework for exactly where to put your efforts to succeed. Figuring out how to align your work with these strategic priorities will unlock the key to excellence. For example, in IT, we are not just responsible for digital transformation. We also support the student learning environment, provide digital inclusivity through hybrid classrooms, foster partnerships in the communities surrounding our campuses, responsibly recycle used devices, and support our friends in the auxiliaries. These are just a few of the ways our work impacts all pillars of success. Additionally, pay attention to what is happening on UW system level in meetings just like this, and do whatever you can to champion those initiatives as well. Lastly, embody the following traits. Be kind, have integrity, work hard, treat campus resources as your own, foster relationships, lead from wherever you are, and never give up. And in other words, rise to the occasion. Thank you again.
Our third Academic Staff Excellence Award for 2021 goes to the UW-Parkside You Have Options program. The UW-Parkside Police Department earned its official You Have Options program certification in August of 2020, making it the first police department in Wisconsin to add this specialized approach for working with survivors of sexual assault, and only the second university police department in the nation to earn such a distinction. In 2017, and over the next 3 years, UW-Parkside Officer Kelly Anderchek began the successful implementation of the You Have Options program through research, training, and collaboration with campus and community partners in Kenosha. The resulting officer engagement strengthens the trust between police and survivors and helps create a positive, healthier relationship both on campus and with the criminal justice system. The program was originally created by Detective Carrie Hull from the Ashland, Oregon Police Department. Her goal was to help survivors of sexual assault
collaborate with law enforcement, and offer them non-traditional options of how victim-centered sexual assault investigations are handled. The You Have Options program is continually updated and refined and reviewed by a core group of nationally recognized experts in the field of sexual assault response. The program, including its implementation, standards, options, accountability, and trauma-informed response, is helping UW-Parkside and its partners better support and respond to survivors of sexual violence. In the nomination materials, a colleague described the benefits of the program this way, and I quote, "The UW-Parkside Police Department's willingness to be the first in the state and second university in the nation to move forward with this implementation program demonstrates the leadership at all levels of the department," and I unquote. It's with great pride that I present the 2021 University Staff Excellence Award to the UW-Parkside You Have Options program, represented today by UW-Parkside Officer Kelly Anderchak, who helped launch the program. Congratulations.
Way down here. I almost need a stool. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for the nominations and the consideration and the time that it takes to go through all of those nominations. And congratulations to the other award winners as well as all the rest of the nominees from around the system. The You Have Options program is a collaboration. It's the epitome of a collaboration. Though it is a law enforcement-led program, the program would not exist without the collaboration both on campus and with the campus partners. So the support that I have received in implementing this program from not only the university in general, but as well as my chief, who has allowed me tireless hours to go do what I needed to do, as opposed to, doing some of the other things that I'm required to do in my daily patrol, and my fellow officers as well for allowing me the ability to work and implement this program. My collaboration with the Title IX on campus and Dean of Students Office and housing is imperative for this program to exist. In addition to the on-campus partnerships that have agreed to be trauma trained and to envelop this program, the district attorney's office and Women's and Children's Horizons in our city, and student health and counseling on campus, and other local law enforcement as well, also had to kind of sign on to allow this program to exist. So the collaboration in the truest form of the word across our university as well as in our city and neighboring is really the reason that the You Have Options program was able to be implemented on our campus. So I really, really deeply appreciate the opportunity to have that option for our students and for both the on-campus and the commuter students as well. And I do look forward to spreading it around Wisconsin. I do think it's an amazing program. It's an amazing opportunity for our students to have a ability to come to law enforcement and work with the criminal justice system in a way that they didn't think was possible before. So on behalf of all of the sexual assault survivors, past, present, and possibly in this room, thank you so very much for your support. of this program. And I hope that next time we talk about it, it's all over our UW system. Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations to all of the award recipients and to all of the people that were nominated this year. Recognition of our university staff is well-deserved and long overdue. Next, we'd like to recognize the outstanding hospitality of our hosts and their compelling presentations. We would like to present a resolution of appreciation to UW-Oshkosh. To do the honors, I'm calling on Regent Greavy.
Thank you. First, it is a real privilege and honor for the Regents to be able to go around our system and have meetings at different campuses. It's something that we value and treasure. We also know how much work it is. And we're deeply appreciative, Chancellor Levitt, for all the work you did and that your team did in putting this event together. Thank you. It's also a real privilege for us to be here. It's helping you celebrate the 150th anniversary of UW-Oshkosh, which in so many ways epitomizes the, I think, beneficence of the Wisconsin idea in practice, and led by Chancellor Levitt, who in many ways, I think, exemplifies the leadership and integrity that we're so lucky to have across all of our chancellors. So thank you very much, very much. With that, whereas the members of the Board of Regents are pleased to recognize the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh as the official host campus for the board's October 2021 meeting. And the board is grateful for the generous hospitality extended by Chancellor Andy Levitt and the entire Titan community as they celebrate the university's sesquicentennial milestone. And whereas the board appreciated hearing Chancellor Levitt's presentation, UW-Oshkosh at 150, delivering on the promise of a regional comprehensive university, and applauds UW-Oshkosh's long legacy serving students and the community. And whereas the Education Committee thanks Provost John Coker for his presentation showing how UW-Oshkosh's involvement in the city of Oshkosh and the surrounding region has had a transformational impact. And whereas the Research, Economic Development, and Innovation Committee learned more about how UW-Oshkosh is building a talent pipeline using undergraduate research, economic engagement, and business outreach involving 2 innovative biodigester sites. And whereas Business and Finance Committee members heard from Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration, James Fletcher, who provided an overview of recent successful measures taken to improve the institution's financial position. And whereas Capital Planning and Budget Committee members heard a presentation about reshaping UW-Oshkosh's Polk Library to enhance its role as a campus research and study center. And whereas board members were pleased to get a closer look at the Steinhilber Art Gallery and the Humans of UW-Oshkosh exhibit, a project that amplifies university voices past and present to honor UW-Oshkosh's 150th celebration. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Regents hereby thanks UW-Oshkosh for 150 years of its life-changing impact, forward-thinking spirit, and outstanding and continuing contributions to the UW system and to the state of Wisconsin. Thank you.
Okay, before we adjourn, do any regents have any communications, petitions, or memorials to share? Seeing none, we stand adjourned.